Hello again. This is day 48 of our Reading Through the Bible Together in a Year series. Today we're covering Numbers chapters 31 and 32. Now, up to this point, Israel is still in the wilderness. They still haven't entered the promised land yet, but now Joshua has officially been named as the next successor after Moses as the leader of Israel. And what we witnessed a lot of yesterday was just a bunch of laws and descriptions over the seven feasts of Israel, annual feasts. And so let's see how it goes today. Then Yahweh said to Moshe, "Give the Midianites punishment for the wrong they did to the children of Israel, and after that you will go to rest with your people." So Moshe said to the people, "Let men from among you be armed for war to put into effect against Midian Yahweh's punishment on them. From every tribe of Israel send 1,000 to the war." So from the thousands of Israel 1,000 were taken from every tribe, 12,000 men armed for war. And Moshe sent them out to war, 1,000 from every tribe, and with them Pinhas, the son of Eleazar the priest, taking in his hands the vessels of the holy place and the horns for sounding the note of war. And they made war on Midian, as Yahweh gave orders to Moshe, and they put to death every male. They put the kings of Midian to death with the rest, Evi and Rechem, and Zur, and Hur, and Riva, the 5 kings of Midian. And Bil'am, the son of Beor, they put to death with the sword. The women of Midian, with their little ones, the children of Israel, took prisoner, and all their cattle and flocks and all their goods they took for themselves. And after burning all their towns and all their tent circles, they went away with the goods they had taken, man and beast. And the prisoners and the goods and everything they had taken, they took to Moshe and Eleazar the priest and the people of Israel to the tent circle in the lowlands of Moab by the Yarden at Jericho. Then Moshe and Eleazar the priest and the chiefs of the people went out to them before they had come in to the tent circle. And Moshe was angry with the chiefs of the army, the captains of thousands and the captains of hundreds, who had come back from the war. And Moshe said to them, "Why have you kept all the women safe? It was these who, moved by Bil'am, were the cause of Israel's sin against Yahweh in the question of Peor, because of which disease came on the people of Yahweh. So now put every male child to death, and every woman who has had relations with a man. But all the female children who have had no relations with men you may keep for yourselves. You yourselves will have to keep outside the tent circle for 7 days, any one of you who has put any person to death or come near a dead body. And on the 3rd day and on the 7th day make yourselves and your prisoners clean. And every bit of clothing and anything made of leather or goat's hair or wood you are to make clean." Then Eleazar the priest said to the men of war who had been to the fight, "This is the rule of the law which Yahweh has given to Moshe. But gold and silver and brass and iron and tin and lead and anything which may be heated is to go through the fire and be made clean. But in addition it is to be put in the water of cleaning, and anything which may not go through the fire is to be put in the water. And on the 7th day, after washing your clothes, you will be clean, and then you may come into the tent circle." And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Get an account of everything which has been taken in the war, of man and of beast, you and Eleazar the priest and the heads of the families of the people. And let division be made of it into 2 parts, one for the men of war who went out to the fight, and one for all the people. And from the men of war who went out, let there be offered to Yahweh 1 out of every 500, from the persons and from the oxen and donkeys and sheep. Take this from their part and give it to Eleazar the priest as an offering to be lifted up to Yahweh. And from the part given to the children of Israel, take 1 out of every 50 from the persons and from the oxen and donkeys and sheep, and give it to the Levites who have the care of the house of Yahweh." So Eleazar and Moshe did as Yahweh had given orders to Moshe. Now the beasts taken, in addition to what the fighting men took for themselves, were 675,000 sheep, and 72,000 oxen, and 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 persons, that is, women who had never had relations with a man. And the half given as their part to the men who went out to war was 337,500 sheep, of which Yahweh's part was 675. The number of oxen was 36,000, of which Yahweh's part was 72. The number of donkeys was 30,500, of which Yahweh's part was 61. And the number of persons was 16,000, of which Yahweh's part was 32 persons. And Moshe gave Yahweh's part lifted up as an offering to Eleazar the priest, as Yahweh had given orders to Moshe. And from the half given to the children of Israel, which Moshe had kept separate from that given to the fighting men, now the people's half was 337,500 sheep, and 36,000 oxen, and 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 persons. Even from the children of Israel's half, Moshe took one out of every 50, men and beasts, and gave them to the Levites who had the care of the house of Yahweh, as Yahweh gave orders to Moshe. Then the men in authority over the thousands of the army, the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, came to Moshe and said to him, Your servants have taken note of the number of all the fighting men under our orders, and every one is present. And we have here an offering for Yahweh from what every man took in the war, ornaments of gold, leg chains and arm rings, finger rings, earrings, and neck ornaments, to make our souls free from sin before Yahweh. So Moshe and Eleazar the priest took the gold from them, even all the worked ornaments. And the gold which the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds gave as an offering to be lifted up before Yahweh came to 16,750 shekels, for every man of the army had taken goods for himself in the war. Then Moshe and Eleazar the priest took the gold given by the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, and took it into the tent of meeting, to be a sign in memory of the children of Israel before Yahweh. Now the children of Reuven and the children of Gad had a great number of cattle. And when they saw that the land of Yatzer and the land of Gilead was a good place for cattle, the children of Gad and the children of Reuven came and said to Moshe, and to Eleazar the priest, and to the chiefs of the meeting, Ataroth and Dibon, and Yatzer, and Nimrah, and Heshbon, and El-Aleh, and Sevam, and Nevo, and Beon. The land which Yahweh gave into the hands of the children of Israel is a land for cattle, and your servants have cattle. And they said, With your approval, let this land be given to your servants as their heritage. Do not take us over Yarden. And Moshe said to the children of Gad and to the children of Reuven, Are your brothers to go to the war, while you take your rest here? Why would you take from the children of Israel the desire to go over into the land which Yahweh has given them? So did your fathers, when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up to the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they took from the children of Israel the desire to go into the land which Yahweh had given them. And at that time Yahweh was moved to wrath, and made an oath, saying, Truly not one of the men of 20 years old and over who came out of Egypt will see the land which I gave by oath to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, because they have not been true to me with all their heart. But only Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, and Yehoshua the son of Nun, because they have been true to Yahweh. Then Yahweh was angry with Israel, and he made them wanderers in the wasteland for 40 years, until all that generation who had done evil in the eyes of Yahweh was dead. And now you have come to take the place of your fathers, another generation of sinners, increasing the wrath of Yahweh against Israel. For if you are turned away from him, he will send them wandering again in the wasteland, and you will be the cause of the destruction of all this people. Then they came to him and said, We will make safe places for our cattle here, and towns for our little ones. But we ourselves will be ready, armed to go before the children of Israel until we have taken them to their place. But our little ones will be safe in the walled towns against the people of the land. We will not come back to our houses until every one of the children of Israel has come into his heritage. For we will not have our heritage with them on the other side of Yarden and forward, because our heritage has come to us on this side of Yarden to the east. Then Moshe said to them, If you will do this, arming yourselves to go before Yahweh to the war, every armed man of you going across Yarden before Yahweh until he has overcome and sent in flight all who are against him, and the land is under the rule of Yahweh, then after that you may come back, having done no wrong to Yahweh and to Israel, and this land will be yours for your heritage before Yahweh. But if you do not do this, then you are sinners against Yahweh, and you may be certain that your sin will have its reward. So get to work, building your towns for your little ones, and safe places for your sheep, and do as you have said. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuven said to Moshe, Your servants will do as my Lord says. Our little ones, our wives, and our flocks, and all our cattle will be there in the towns of Gilead. But your servants will go over, every man armed for war, before Yahweh to the fight, as my Lord says. So Moshe gave orders about them to Eleazar the priest, and to Yehoshua the son of Nun, and to the heads of the families of the tribes of the children of Israel. And Moshe said to them, If the children of Gad and the children of Reuven go with you over Yarden, every man armed for the fight before Yahweh, and all the land is given into your hands, then let them have the land of Gilead for a heritage. But if they do not go over with you armed, they will have to take their heritage with you in the land of Canaan. Then the children of Gad and the children of Reuven said, As Yahweh has said to your servants, so we will do. We will go over armed before Yahweh into the land of Canaan, and you will give us our heritage on this side of Yarden. So Moshe gave to them, even to the children of Gad, and the children of Reuven, and to the half-tribe of Manasseh, the son of Yosef, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and Og, king of Bashan, all the land with its towns and the country around them. And the children of Gad were the builders of Dibon, and Ataroth, and Aroer, and Atroth Shofan, and Yatzer, and Yagbaha, and Bet Nimrah, and Bet Haran, walled towns and shut-in places for sheep. And the children of Reuven were the builders of Heshbon, and El Aleh, and Kiriataim, and Nebo, and Baal Meon, their names being changed, and Sivam, and they gave other names to the towns they made. And the children of Machir, the sons of Manasseh, went to Gilead and took it, driving out the Amorites who were living there. And Moshe gave Gilead to Machir, the son of Manasseh, and he made it his living place. And Yair, the son of Manasseh, went and took the towns of Gilead, naming them Chavot Yair. And Novah went and took Kenath and its small towns, naming it Novah after himself. Just a short thought for this last story that we read today about the tribes of Reuben and Gad and the half-tribe of Manasseh trying to take land outside of Israel across the Jordan because they like that land and they want that to be their inheritance instead of going in and getting the inheritance from the land of Canaan. I like this idea that Moses puts to them, but you need to come with us to take the land, right? You can't just enjoy this out here and do no work for the land that God has actually promised for us. And I just like that seeming sense of responsibility there, and that the people of Gad and Reuben and the half-tribe of Manasseh to say, yes, we won't rest in this land that we like until all of our brothers and sisters have the land and inheritance in Canaan. It's just this cool thing that, responsibility stands. Like even if you're promised something by God, you still need to take the responsibility to help and make sure that the other people around you are also getting their inheritance of God, right? You don't want to be a hindrance on other people's blessings. So think about ways that you specifically sometimes can be a hindrance on other people's blessings just because you're not going out of your way to be the blessing of God as well, right? Gad and Reuben and the half-tribe of Manasseh, they were part of blessing the rest of the tribes by helping them capture the land of Canaan, the land that God had promised originally. So have a wonderful day.